Steinhoff share prices plunged over 98% since December 2017, when former CEO Marcus Jooste resigned in the wake of an accounting scandal. What followed was the reinstatement of the 2017-2018 financial results, which have been finalized. I'm going to speak now to the JSE CEO, Dr. Leila Fourie, about this and other developments at the JSE. Leila, many thanks for your time this evening. Let's perhaps start with what determined the 13.5 million rand that Steinhoff was given as the fine.
Hi, there were a number of misstatements, and these related to the financial results that were disclosed. For example, a couple of disposals that were made when Steinhoff had its primary listing offshore were not disclosed to the local environment. And there were a number of items that didn't comply with the accounting standards. And so the JSE found that Steinhoff's results were in breach of the listings requirements and that they were incorrect, false, and misleading.
Right. Is this the maximum amount you can charge as a fine as the JSE?
The fine is the 7.5 million is our maximum. And you would have seen that we applied multiple fines, and so that does, in a conglomerate effect, bring us to the largest fine that we have levied to a company. Now, you have to remember that the JSE's fine is as a frontline listings regulator. This is part of a much broader ecosystem of regulation. The Financial Service Conduct Authority, for example, are also responsible for the regulation of Steinhoff, and they fined Steinhoff 1.5 billion rand a while ago. There is also Companies Act discretion that Steinhoff could be potentially liable were they to be found guilty. And then, of course, the criminal side would be the National Prosecuting Authority. And so all of these regulators and law enforcement agents have a different role to play, and our role is exclusively around listings requirements and misleading financial statements, really.
Right. Let's talk broadly about the JSE and some of the action that it takes against companies that provide false information to shareholders. Do you think that the JSE, in recent years, with companies that are coming out restating their results because of irregularities, do you think that the JSE does enough in that regard?
I think that we do as much as we can. Everybody can always do more, and unfortunately, these handful of very high profile and very high value corporate failures are held up, and these are perhaps a handful of under 10 companies. And when we compare that to the larger number of listed entities, over 340 listed entities, it is unfortunate that we have to deal with a small number of failures. The JSE, the maximum fine that we can apply is 7.5 million. And you would have seen at the end of the SENS announcement that investigations into individuals who may or may not be liable is ongoing. And so the JSE will focus on both the company as well as the individual.
Right. Dr. Leila Fourie, who's the CEO of the JSE, breaking down that fine that was imposed on Steinhoff.